Welcome to 5 Minute Nerd Episode 15. Today we're diving into one of the most complex, grim-dark, and expansive universes in nerd culture, the Warhammer 40K universe. The Warhammer 40,000 universe, often shortened to 40K, is set in the 41st millennium, a future where humanity has colonized much of the galaxy. However, this isn't a utopian future. Instead, it's a dark, dystopian age of endless war, corruption, and despair. The Imperium of Man, a totalitarian empire, dominates much of the galaxy, ruled by the immortal God Emperor of mankind. But this is not the only faction vying for power. There are alien races, corrupted humans, and ancient beings all seeking to control or destroy the galaxy. Major factions. Let's briefly look at the major players. 1. The Imperium of Man. The largest and most powerful faction, the Imperium is held together by sheer force and faith in the God Emperor. It's a decaying and authoritarian empire, plagued by bureaucracy and corruption, and constantly under siege from within and without. 2. The Space Marines. The superhuman warriors of the Imperium. The Space Marines are genetically engineered soldiers divided into chapters. Their loyalty to the Emperor is unshakable, and they serve as humanity's first and last line of defense against countless threats. 3. The Chaos Gods and Chaos Space Marines. The forces of chaos are beings from the warp, a parallel dimension of psychic energy. They are embodiments of humanity's darkest emotions, such as Khorne, the god of war, Tzeentch, god of change and deception, Nurgle, god of decay, and Slaanesh, god of excess. The Chaos Space Marines, once loyal to the Emperor, are now twisted and corrupted servants of these dark gods. 4. The Eldar, or Eldari, an ancient race of aliens whose once glorious empire collapsed due to their own hubris. They now wander the galaxy trying to survive in a universe that is far more dangerous than they ever imagined. 5. The Orcs. A brutal and war-hungry species, orcs live only for battle. They are numerous, violent, and anarchic, but they're also weirdly hilarious with their Cockney accents and slapdash technology that somehow works through sheer belief. 6. The Tyranids. An insect-like race that devours entire planets, stripping them of all life. They represent an existential threat to the galaxy, consuming everything in their path with the sole aim of growing their hive mind. 7. The Necrons. An ancient race of once-living beings who transferred their souls into machine bodies. They seek to reclaim their lost dominion over the galaxy. The role of the Warp. In the Warhammer 40K universe, the Warp is a parallel dimension of psychic energy and chaos, filled with malevolent entities. This space allows faster-than-light travel but comes at great risk. The Warp is also the source of the Chaos God's power, and its influence can corrupt humans, turning them into servants of chaos. Now let's talk a bit about the history leading up to this dark future. Long before the 41st millennium, humanity achieved great heights during the dark age of technology. They created advanced AI, colonized thousands of worlds, and spread across the galaxy. But this age of prosperity didn't last. The AI rebelled in what is known as the Men of Iron Uprising, nearly wiping out humanity. Following this, the galaxy fell into the Age of Strife. Civil war, rebellion, and the Warp's influence led to the collapse of communication between planets, plunging human civilizations into isolation. Enter the God Emperor of mankind. A being of immense psychic power, the Emperor sought to unify humanity and lead it into a new golden age. During the Great Crusade, the Emperor led his genetically engineered warriors, including the Space Marines and Primarchs, to reunite the scattered human worlds. It was a time of hope, but it would soon come crashing down. The Horus Heresy was a devastating civil war that nearly destroyed the Imperium. The Emperor's favored son Horus was corrupted by chaos and led half of the Space Marines in rebellion. After a brutal conflict, the Emperor was mortally wounded and entombed in the Golden Throne, a life support system that keeps him alive in a vegetative state. From this point on, the Imperium has stagnated. It's a grim, dark place ruled by fear, superstition, and oppression. Humanity is constantly fighting off invasions from Xenos, aliens, heretics, and the forces of chaos. There is no hope for peace in the 41st millennium. There is only war. The Warhammer 40K universe is vast, brutal, and endlessly fascinating, combining elements of science fiction, fantasy, and horror. It's a world where faith, war, and survival are the only constants, and it has captivated fans for decades. Whether you're into the lore, tabletop games, or the growing number of novels, 40K has something for every nerd to enjoy. Until next time, when we'll dive into another nerd culture favorite, keep nerding out. If there are parts of the nerd universe that you would like for us to cover here at 5 Minute Nerd, leave us a note in the comments. To keep getting nerd culture broken down in 5 minutes, don't forget to like and subscribe.